Yo, what's up YouTube? I'm Covers with Cassidy and welcome to my Smut Den. That was so cringe, but did everyone get the MTV Cribs thingy? I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see anything in here, but we have made a fort. A fort so that I am literally living in the Smut Den all weekend. I'm just chilling in here. I'll give you a tour. I have the shakiest hands, so I'm not good at these things. But we have a mattress here. I am getting cozy. All of the pillows. I have a reading couch chair over here if I want to like sit up, and I can make the fort go up higher so that I can actually sit there. I have some lamps that are blurry and out of focus, you know, but mostly I'm just chilling in a giant tent fort thing. I have drinks and stuff on the ground. I'm not prepared yet because it's Thursday at like 2 p.m. I have to work tonight, so I actually don't make it to kickoff sprints, sadly, but I need to get snacks. But I'm very excited. I'm repping the late night crew attire, and the best part is, guys, I have a wheel. I have a wheel, and we need to spin it. Also, not 100% sure how symmetrical and physicsful this is. I have tried to spin it a couple times and I haven't been getting the same thingy, but it took me a really long time to get it to that. I played around with this wheel. I technically have made two. If all else fails, I will be taking this off and just using a flicker. I thought it was cool to have a wheel on the wall, and I need to do my first spin. I'm so scared. I really, actually, I want enemies to lovers, truthfully, because I need an audiobook for tonight because I'm going out. Like, I am going to a shoot, so I have to drive about 40 minutes both ways. So an audiobook would be really good because I'm trying to grind out 3 books for this readathon within the 72 hours. I think that's doable. My hope would be more, but 3 is like what I want. 2 is acceptable if they're chunky. Okay, I'm so scared. Are we ready? That was a shitty spin. Oh no, what am I gonna get? Oh. We're on Monster. Okay, you know what? I like the Monster because it's quick and easy, but I don't have an audiobook, so this is not helping me. I could read, there's an 80-page Monster smut book that I actually do want to read. It's like The Creature Cafe, and it's male on male. So maybe I'll read that one, but I do know that Rye is reading I Married a Lizard Man tonight, so I also could read that. I want to know if I can get an audiobook for it. Phone, where are you? Hey Siri, where are you?
I'm here.
Thanks, Siri. Siri's incredible for that. Frick. No, I Married a Lizard Man on the library. Let's check Scribd. I should have put the arrow on this side because they're upside down on this side, but you know, you win some, you lose some.
Many hours later.
Okay, I went to the store and I have my snacks. I got every oblong, long oval snack that I could think of. So I got bananas to eat while I'm eating smutty books. I got some pepperoni sticks. You know, these are, I'm gonna eat my pepperoni. Devour that pepperoni. I got, some cookie dough, which I know isn't oblong when I eat it, but like right now it is. And my absolute favorite, I got a good old package of cucumbers, mini ones of course, so that I can just I got a little hungry while I'm reading a smutty little book. Take it, dip it in the hummus, and just good. It was actually pretty good hummus. What has BookTube made me become? I don't know what I'm going to do with this cucumber because I'm not currently in the mood to eat it. For Monster Romance, I'm unsure what I'm reading. It'll be when I get back from my shoot tonight, whatever. Depending on how early I get back, I'll read the longer one if I'm back earlier, but I'll read the short one if I'm not, and then do another spin. I need my sausages. Not one. I need 2 sausages to talk about this book. Uh-oh, what a big mouthful. I'm not even meaning to say these things, but I just keep happening. Okay, for my first read of the readathon, I read Little Slice of Hell by Cleo Evans. This is the Creature Cafe series, book 1. So this series follows a cafe full of like monsters and creatures who come to the cafe to talk to the barista, who then like they say to the barista, I'm looking for love, this is what I'm into, what I want, the kind of fetishes I have, and then the barista sets them up. This one happened to be male on male and was really good. It is very insta-love and erotica, but I was expecting that since it's only 88 pages. But there is a bit of a plot that happens, not like a plot, but like enough that the story isn't boring. I also really enjoyed the humor in this one. I mean, I'm pretty much only giving it a 3 stars. Like, it's not 5-star worthy, but it was a good time, and that's all I wanted out of this. And the second book in the series is a dragon shifter, so I probably will. Also, I feel like I should get a 3rd sausage out because the monster in it is a succubus, and he has a tail that has ridges in it. And they use that tail a lot. The first sex scene comes within like 20 pages of the book. Like, erotica, but good. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. Like, there was a lot of humor in it, which is what I really enjoyed. I don't really have anything else to say. I'm just going to repeat myself. We need to do another spin. I'm currently on live sprint, so I'm just going to make them bigger here. Put my sausages down. My pepperoni sticks need to go away. And let's get on it. Like before, I'm absolutely terrified, but I'm going to focus you on the wheel and not me. Okay. Fake dating / arranged marriage. I can make this work, I believe. Definitely not what I was hoping for, but it's not the one that I didn't want. Literally, the only prompt I didn't want is fae / shapeshifters, which is hilarious because I fought tooth and nail to get that on the wheel because I felt like I needed it, and now it's the one that I think I would respin for. I'm gonna have to do some work. I'm gonna have to research into... Oh, actually, I can read Brutal Birthright for this. Sophie Lark, Brutal Birthright? That's arranged marriage. I think I'll read that. I'm gonna catch up with you in a bit, but yeah. I think I'll read that. That's a good one. I liked that. That was exciting. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. Hola, it is Saturday. It's not Saturday. Oh my god. Hola. It's Friday morning. What is time? And I am just about to hop on Bobby Sprints. It's 11 a.m. my time. I haven't done any reading this morning because I just watched YouTube videos and did a little bit of work. I had to back up my images from the photo shoot last night. Don't want to lose anything. La-di-da-da. No one cares about work. We're all here for the Smut Den. I did read till 20% last night of The Brutal Prince, which is the first book in the Brutal Birthright. The Brutal Birthright series follows a Irish Mafia family, I believe, and each book is a different couple pairing, and this first one is an arranged marriage between 2 Mafia families to kind of make an alliance. I have my coffee here because I am a little tired and I have a feeling I'm gonna be drinking a lot of these. Maybe I'll attempt to make espresso martinis later and get all fancy in my little tent. I'm repping the Late Night Crew t-shirt today, but I do have the crew neck on, here, if I get cold. The Brutal Birthright I'm liking so far. The Brutal Prince, it is a very different tone and style of writing than There Are No Saints are, which I really enjoy. I love when an author can write versatile and I can see the difference. And you know what, that could just be practice has made her better or worse. I find I liked or that she's actually knows the tone that she's going for, and I'm gonna say it's that one. I am enjoying this one so far. We've met our 2 characters. Honestly can't remember their names. We've met a lot of characters in the Mafia families, so there's a lot of characters going on, but our 2 characters are very opposites. But our 2 characters both don't really want it. It's a really, really forced marriage, and I have no thoughts really right now. I'm mumbling, rambling. I'm gonna update you in a bit when I actually have an idea, because so far at this point we've just seen the first incident and them being told they're going to have to marry. I made myself some lunch. I figured I'd show you it. It's just a rice bowl with cucumber, edamame, mango, and pork and leek dumplings with sriracha mayo, soya sauce, and sesame oil and rice vinegar marinade kind of thing. It's going to be delicious, but it's really hot steaming. So I figured I'd update you while I wait for it to cool down a bit. Of course, I'm in my sweater again, so it's all gonna look the same. Oops. We're seeing the characters connect, and I'm really enjoying their banter. It's very enemies to lovers. They hate each other, but I'm loving it because I can see why they actually are gonna be a perfect match. I can see why they're gonna connect. I enjoy that. It's not so forced because you can see in the 100 or so pages we got before they were forced into this marriage, you kind of learn about their hopes and their dreams and what drives them, and you can just see how, like, those are going to bond really well together, and that the only reason that they don't like each other is because of this, like, family duel and anger between the Mafia families, not, like, their actual personalities clash. And yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I think it's going to be a 3.5 stars. I'm about 45% in currently, so I'm going to update you next when I'm done, because I feel like I don't have a lot to update you on right now. And I think Bobby told me the next book is about the little sister of the one Mafia family, and like very grumpy sunshine kidnapping, and I am excited for that one. So yeah, this was a good pick. The wheel is treating me right. All praise the wheel. I finished Brutal Prince. Wow, this fort is making my hair everywhere. I really enjoyed it. I think I'm giving it 4 stars in the end. Everything I talked about in the last clip, I just like really enjoyed. I loved that I could see why they'd be good together and connect together, so it didn't feel so forced in terms of romance. There's no third act breakup in this. It's because there's actual literal plot, so they didn't need that like, oh, we're gonna break up because miscommunication and then get back together because it was all just miscommunication. No, there's plot, there's things happening, so they didn't have that. I really, really enjoyed that. I enjoyed our main character. I liked a little bit of the humor she put into it, and then him, I really liked. He is like, their Mafia is more like legal Mafia, like they, obviously not all legal, but they focus more on legal businesses and ruling the city, doing things like being the mayor and having all those connections versus just like murdering bodies. They will murder bodies, but like it's not their forefront, so it was very political. He was trying to win an election, and I enjoyed that. I come from a family of politics. My grandfather was an MLA at some point. I volunteer in elections lots of the time, so I do like politics, and I found that very intriguing, so I think this book just really worked for me. And I'm excited to continue. If Mafia comes up, I think I will continue, but I am hoping, let's be honest, I'm really just hoping for serial killer kidnapping. Like, is this wheel going to do me that dirty that it's not going to give me this weekend? But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed it. Tropes in this book are like, obviously arranged marriage, hate to love more than enemies to lovers, although technically they're enemies. There's triggers for, it's a little bit of non-consent consent, but only kind of in the terms of like, they have to consummate their marriage because families, like, they're really religious, so it's kind of like, we kind of have to do this, so we don't really want to, but we do want to do it, kind of thing. And I just, yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to continue. This was an A+. Oh, and Sophie Lark writes incredible smut. Her smut is so good. I really, really enjoy her smut. It's like hot and heavy, the limo scene, the shower scene, and like the clothing stuff. Oh, I loved like the bickering between these two. I don't know, this one really worked for me. Really, really worked for me. On to the next spin. Are we ready? Ooh, that one's literally right on the line. I don't know what to do. It's like literally right on the line. Do I flip a coin? Or do I just pick whatever one I want to do? I'm so unsure. Like, I literally don't know what to do. I'll catch up with you when I decide. I think I'm just gonna pick whatever one I want. We're gonna figure out. I'll update you once I've started reading whatever book I decide to read. Okay, I decided to just pick. I kind of asked Mel and Rye and Bobby their thoughts on it landing on the line, and Mel said either just respin and don't count it as a respin, and Bobby said pick. So I'm gonna pick, and I think I'm going to read Twisted Heathens, which is a reverse harem that happens in a mental institute, and I'm just intrigued to see where it goes.
They don't have a table, so the handy dandy laundry basket. Back out.
Just give it a good old shake.
Could have made that something good.
We'll see what it tastes like.
Yeah, do the double fist, Cassidy.
I love Rachel's message. I wonder who Rye's texting.
Not good.
Not good?
Too much vodka. Not enough espresso.
I look like a mess. It is 12 a.m. We just hit midnight, so we're officially on to Saturday. But I am 50% into Twisted Heathens, which is a dark reverse harem. We're following our main character who does something and has a life sentence in prison, but because she does an insanity plea, she ends up at a hospital, but then the hospital sends her to a experimental facility to get treatment, and if she does a 3-year treatment there and passes, she can be let out into the real world. And she agrees to this because she thinks it'll be easier to kill herself there. And that's what she wants to do. Because she doesn't think she deserves to live for what she did. Blah, 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 blah. Suicide is a major part of this book. This book has trigger warnings galore. And the author does have a whole note full of trigger warnings at the beginning of this book. Actually, let me see if I can look it up. So for trigger warnings, we have self-harm, suicide, drug use, mental health themes, including psychosis, graphic violence, child abuse, and sexual assault. Also explicit language, and throughout there are sexual scenes involving blood play, breath play, dubious consent, mutual self-harming, and light BDSM. And she does also put a warning that it is written for entertainment and is not intended to accurately represent the treatment of mental health issues or like mental health issues in general. With this one, I was expecting it to be very dark and very like almost like asylum type, and we're not quite getting there. There are some really dark scenes. I enjoyed a really dark sex scene. There's also not as much smut in it as I expected. Normally with poly or reverse harem stories, I find that it's smut, 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 because there's so many different love interests and contenders. And actually, I believe her main character has only had sex with one of them at this moment in time, and I'm 50% into this book, but there is some sexual relationships with other characters, and one of our characters is bi, and you see a lot of his male scenes. But I would say the actual setting of this takes place in more of a boarding school for effed up people is how I'm going to explain it in the best terms possible to get what I mean across. It's less creepy asylum, white padded walls, more boarding school. Like, there are cell phones, but internet is restricted, calls are restricted. Only the rich kids have these privileges too. They have alcohol in here. They get a lot of contraband that shouldn't be in there very easily because it's very bought off, and the rich kids kind of rule it. A lot of these kids are also voluntarily in here. And I think all of our protagonists are roughly 18 to 20, so still quite young. So it's less creepy asylum, although we've had some scenes. There's like a creepy doctor and stuff, and I'm still very intrigued and really liking it, but it's not what I had expected of it. But I am enjoying it, and as I said, there's not a lot of smut, so there's actually a decent amount of plot. Well, there is smut. I guess, like, there's a lot of scenes, there's a lot of blowjobs, but not all of them. Like, it's not hot and heavy sex scenes that you typically are getting with dark romance, but I think we'll get there. At this point, we are really just working on the plot, and the plot is kind of interesting because it's kind of a mystery, so you don't know what she did to get the life sentence and what happened to her in her past. And we're slowly kind of figuring that out and seeing more of that happen, and her kind of trusting people as it goes on. So yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I think it's sitting at a 3.5 with potential to be a 4-star. So that's looking good for me. I'm having a decent time in the Smut Den compared to other people. But I have 20 minutes left, and I think there's 2 hours left in this. So I don't know if I'm going to finish it tonight because I wanted to make it to 2 a.m., but I might only make it to 1 a.m. tonight. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I'll catch up with you in the next clip. Hello. I finished the Asylum one, Twisted Heathens. I think last time we talked, I was sitting at a 3.5, hoping it would get to a 4. I was hopeful. It didn't get there. We're giving it a 2. It was one of those books where I was just like, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. Like, the groundwork was there, the potential was there, I wanted a little bit more, and it ended up just getting worse and worse and worse, instead of the last 100 pages was really just, like, not it. One, they had this scene that happens in a lot of reverse harems, and it really bothers me. It's like the pick us scene. Like, you complete us, you have to pick all of us, you can't just pick one of us, blah, blah, blah. And I get the point behind that scene, but it's the cringiest scene, and I think it would be better if they just didn't actually have it, and it was more just like a mutual happening. Or I also find I hate when it's just like so many chapters that are just like, I get why he's in love with her too, like she's so amazing. And it's like chapter after chapter I'm reading that line from a different POV because they're all kind of just accepting the fact that all of each other are into her. Another thing is, although it's a reverse harem, there's 4 men, 1 girl. The girl has major feelings for 2 of these characters. The other one just kind of sleeps with her, and the other one kisses her once. Like, literally kisses her once in the entire... And I was like, wait, you're in love with her? You haven't even peeled your banana inside her yet. And I just... Yeah, it was a lot of, like, YA pining with a darker tone that didn't go dark enough. Like, I kept waiting for the author to go dark. I kept waiting for the asylum, the mental institute, to get, like, creepy. There was this doctor who was, like, injecting her with, like, experimental drugs that were, like, she's like, I don't know what they're injecting me with. I don't know what they're doing down here. Like, loopy when she goes to see him. I kept waiting for that to be, like, the creepiness, for us to see that this building is effed up, this experimental treatment is not all that it seems, because they were building to that again and again and again, but nothing ever happened. And at the end of the 350 pages that I read, we leave on a cliffhanger that's finally actually setting that storyline up. Like, we're actually seeing, but, like, it was too late in the story for me to make a reveal that wasn't a full reveal. It was literally just, like, all of the characters finally realizing this. Honestly, this angered me because I had so much hope for this, and I liked the beginning enough that it had so much potential. Why do books do this? Like, they could be so good, but they're not. And I just wanted it to be darker. Like, I think I'm gonna have this problem a lot in this, where, like, if you're gonna tell me a book is dark, go dark. Like, don't wimp out. The darkest scene in this is her suicide scenes, and obviously there's a lot of triggers for that, but I was expecting a lot more dark sex. They talk a lot about, like, blood play, and there is blood play, there is breath play, but, like, not enough. I get why all those triggers are in there, because they're definitely in the book, but, like, I was expecting more. It's literally, the title is Twisted Heathens, a dark romance. So give me dark romance. I mean, it is dark romance, but it's not dark enough for me. Maybe I'm just effed up in the brain. We didn't even have a scene with 4 bananas out. We didn't even get a orgy. Like, we didn't get a reverse harem scene. We just got her, like, essentially she was just sleeping with a bunch of guys. Yeah, so I think I'm giving it 2 stars. I don't recommend it. Wasn't worth it in the end. Kind of reminded me of Den of Vipers in a lot of things, like in the tone of the way it's written and the plot that just doesn't go anywhere. But this was more enjoyable than Den of Vipers. It wasn't as cringe. At least Den of Vipers went there with the smut. The darker smut. This one didn't. We have the one scene in a graveyard. Yeah. Okay, I've been talking for 6 minutes. Holy crap, someone shut me up. We need to spin the wheel. Frick! Okay, it's Saturday, and I'm using one of my respins because I don't want that one. Forced proximity. Because it's on the line. It's on the line, and we respun for Fae/Shapeshifter, so we're doing forced proximity. So, I gotta do some thinking about what I'm gonna read. What did I get? For Forced Proximity, I ended up picking up the second book in the Birtle Birthright series, which is Stolen Heir. This one follows the Polish Mafia who kidnaps the youngest daughter of our Irish Mafia family and holds her captive, and then, you know, falls in love, all this other stuff. I was really expecting to love this one, as it has some really big buzzwords for me, like kidnapping, forced proximity, isolated setting, Those are bigger buzzwords that I tend to love. This is Mel's favorite. I'm pretty sure it's Bobby's favorite so far in the series. And I'm hating it. I'm sitting at a 2, maybe 1 stars. And I don't like this. I'm pretty much skimming at this point. I'm not reading far enough in depth. I really would say the main part of this is that I really just don't care. I don't like our protagonist. I can't get invested into her. I prefer a protagonist who has a little bit more bite, who's gonna be snarky, who's gonna fight back. She just kind of accepts it. She's just happy-go-lucky, like, oh, I'm kidnapped, but at least I can still dance. And I just don't get it. I don't feel it. And when they talk to each other, I just feel like it's so forced. There's no reason for them to actually fall in love. I don't get the chemistry, anything. And I don't know, she just annoys me. I don't like her. I find him actually very one-dimensional. Everyone told me he was a darker main character. But other than the one dark, traumatizing thing that happened in his past, he himself is not very dark. Like, I wanted to see him take someone's finger off or something. Like, give me the darkness I was told I was gonna get. Maybe it was a difference in opinion on what dark is and stuff to me. I think that the sex scenes that I got in the first book were darker than this. I actually found the character relationship between the 2 characters way darker than this. Because they were trying to kill each other and stuff in the first book. In this one, it's just very surface level. Very, like, insta attraction. I mean, I get why he likes her, because of the trauma and the reminder, but it's stupid. It's so stupid. And there's so many plot holes. How does she learn to speak Polish in like a week? There's no way that would happen. And it's such a stupid thing to happen because, like, they could have fixed that so easily. Like, they literally stated at one point that Polish isn't like any of the other languages she learned, so it's going to be really hard. If you had just said it was similar to some of the other languages that she knows, wouldn't have been such a plot hole. At one point, he literally locks the door and is like, haha, it's locked. And then the next scene is her just opening the door and wandering through the house. Why? Why is that an inconsistency in the story? Why? I'm so bored. I'm literally so bored. I'm just skimming through this one hoping to finish it. So I'll update you in a while because I'm 51% in. I finished the book. I'm currently very undecided on whether this will be a 1-star or 2-star. The whole book as a whole probably should get a 1-star, but I did like the very ending plot, so I think I'm going to maybe give it a 2-star just for like that 40 pages. I do not understand why people like this one. Well, I do. If you care more about fluff, then I get this one, but this book had way too much fluff for me. I found the characters very one-dimensional. There was no reason for their chemistry. Like, besides his traumatic past, I don't know why I put quotations, it was traumatic. There's nothing else to him. There's literally nothing else to him. And the only character trait she has is that she's good and her parents kind of ignore her for the business side of things, for the Mafia side. Like, she's sweet and innocent. That is her trait. And his trait is supposed to be my dark past. And that's all they have. There's nothing else to them. How? What? And then they barely even talk. And then all of a sudden, she's creeping into the bedroom, peeling his pants off, and taking a gobble. And, like, they've said, like, barely anything. They've danced a couple times. Like, I don't know. People told me he was dark. He was not dark. He just had a past with some trauma, and the trauma made him relate to her because his sister was so sweet and innocent like she is. So, oh my god, I'm gonna fall in love. Know what she should have done? She should have gone in there, unzipped his pants, and taken a big bite. Like an actual bite. Like, he kidnapped her, she should have bit that thing off. Sweet innocent who? Anyways, I just really, really did not like this. And the ending, after the plot at the end, we have another, like, 50 pages of pure, like, romance. I don't really care about that. Another thing I didn't like, is that they get married at the end. And I hope that not every single book ends in marriage. I don't think that relationships have to be to marriage. Like, you know, there's that saying that you're either dating to break up or to get married. I personally, at this moment in my time, have no plans on marrying my boyfriend. I plan on being with him for the rest of my life, but marriage is not that commitment that we need. We are already committed to each other, and marriage is just like a document saying it officially for the government. And so I don't think that every relationship needs to end in marriage, and so I would like for not every single relationship in this series to end in marriage, and I felt like this one shouldn't have. They didn't need to rush the marriage. It could have. Maybe in future books you would have heard that they got married or something. But at the moment that this book ended, you needed more time to be together, and her parents set that up so well that they could have taken that time and they did not need to rush getting married. And yeah, there's so much that I didn't like about this book. And I really hated our protagonists. They both sucked. Hopefully the next one is better. And so for this book, I will say there isn't actually that much triggers. It's really not that dark. There's obviously so at the very beginning, there is a traumatizing scene where you hear that someone has been raped and there's suicide and some damage to them. And then other than that, we just have like Mafia murdering, but like there's not any actual like dark triggering scenes. But please look up your triggers. If you have triggers, please, please, please look up triggers. I could be missing things. I'm not the be all end all, but there we are. For tropes, there's kidnapping. I would say it's Grumpy Sunshine. She's very chirpy in my opinion and just like accepts everything that happens to her and is happy to be there. And he's a little bit grumpier, although he's not that grumpy because he's happy she's there too. And forced proximity because she's like stuck in the house. It's an isolated setting. She has to be in the house with him. And I would probably say age gap because she is 19 and he is 28. Normally I put age gap at 10 plus, but I think because she's still a teenager and not legal, you can kind of stretch that a little bit because there are very different, the banana in my hand, places in their life. Okay, we need to spin. I think that's all I needed to talk about for tropes and stuff. Frickety frack. I don't want this. Do I use my second respin? I think I'm going to. Second respin. Enemies to lovers. Okay, I haven't had this one yet, so I'm kind of excited for this because it's obviously a new prompt for me. I really wish I had stocked one before at serial killer kidnapping. I am going to go see what will work for this, and I am hoping that Into the Dark will work, which is a serial killer book. I'm gonna guess it's enemies to lovers. Like, it has to be. If, like, you're stalked by a serial killer.
Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my
Homemade pizza! I got an ice cream bar. We are on hour, like, 56 or something of the readathon. I can't lie. I'm a little sick of this sport. In case you're wondering, my cat loves ice cream. Oh god. I broke the ring light. He's coming to get it. I was trying to figure out how he can be close enough to lick my hand or any ice cream that falls. So, as I was saying, I'm so sick of being in this fort. I'm ready to tear it down tomorrow, but I still have a good amount of time in here. Reading wise, I'm on my 5th book of the readathon, and I picked up Into the Dark, which I picked up for Enemies to Lovers. I was thinking, serial killer, they have to, like, normally with a serial killer, there's some kind of, like, enemy part to it. Kidnapping. I was wrong. I feel kind of bad that I'm reading this for Enemies to Lovers, but I did tell people, if you think it's gonna be there and it's wrong, oh well, you tried. So I'm going with that approach. Oh well, I tried. Because this book follows a serial killer and his victim, but his victim also has an obsessive personality and kind of just obsesses onto him, and it's like a mutual obsession. When I was pitched this book, I didn't know much about it besides that it was pitched as if you love There Are No Saints. It's like There Are No Saints, but with no happily ever after. This ain't like There Are No Saints. This is dark. Dark, 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 and I'm loving it. I'm living for it. But pitching it that way, there's still like a lyrical sense, a romantic sense to There Are No Saints. Yes, they're obsessed and there's murder and it's dark, but there's like also just like this beautiful obsession that's like a romance. This one, we are not shying away from the trauma of their past. We are not shying away from the trauma of their present. So I think going into this, you just need to realize that it's not a lot of romance. It's mostly just dark at this point, and that there's a lot of triggers. The rape is explicit in this book, and the rape, yeah, I'm enjoying it though. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I'm enjoying it. I think I'm about 40% in, so I'm going to keep reading. Because it's only 11 p.m. here, so I got Got some hours to stay up still. That's why I got ice cream. Should probably give Mickey some.
A few minutes later.
I have never read a scene so dark. I have never read a sex scene so dark and fucked up before. It's so hot. Honestly, reading dark romance, I don't know what it says about me. Because the fact that I found that sex scene hot scares the living crap out of me. Because it was so effed up. And let me tell you, if you don't like blood play in your books or anything like that, please don't read this. Torture, pain. Like, this is past BDSM, it's just plain torture. Think like Den of Vipers, if you've read Den of Vipers. The knife scenes and stuff like that. But, like, jacked up. Yeah. I'm gonna get back to reading. I might need to see a therapist after this one. The book has been completed, and I've never felt more like a terrible person, because I really felt for them at the end of this book. I shouldn't feel for these people. I shouldn't have feelings for what happened. And surprisingly, it did not end the way I thought it was going to end, which is such a great surprise. I don't really have much to say about this book besides that it's deeply, deeply, intensely dark, and I really, really enjoyed it, but it's definitely not for everyone. Blood play, rape, murder, everything. It's dark. It's dark. I pretty much, if you have a trigger, probably don't watch it. Stalking, they're stalking in this. The sick person in me gave it 4 stars. And now it's time to do another spin. So here we are. Ooh, that was a bad spin. Mafia. Well then, here I am. This one will be the 3rd Brutal Birthright book. It's just as simple as that. We'll continue tomorrow because I'm going to bed right now. My hair's wet. I showered Sunday morning. Last couple hours of the Smut Den. I have 8 hours left. Trying to get 2 books done, so I gotta grind it out. But I have my coffee to keep me awake. And I'm reading the next book in the Brutal Birthright series, which is Savage Lover. I need to redeem this series after the last book. So here we are. And I'm 21 pages in, only 6%, and I'm already liking this one a lot more. A lot more. So here we go. I'll catch up with you in a bit. I made it to 50% into the book. I can see why a lot of people don't like this one, as the romance is lacking in it, but the plot in it is really good. I'm really enjoying all of the plot. I think that this one has 5-star potential for me because of the plot. But if you're reading these books for the romance, I guess I can see why this one wouldn't be your favorite. I personally think that we've gotten our darkest MC yet. Nero is always talking about lighting things on fire and kind of some of the demons, but it's like less pushed on you. Sometimes when people talk about a dark character, I think it's just that they're always talking about blood and murder and all that, but I think the dark character comes from the actual personality themselves, and I think Nero's like missing something in him, and that's what kind of makes him dark. And I mean, I think Camille's gonna be the person that comes in and is that missing piece. Very cliche, but I'm really enjoying the plot line. Other than that, I really like Camille. So far, she's my favorite MC. I enjoy kind of where she is in life and what she's doing for her family. I think that's kind of relatable. And then there are a couple things that are bothering me in the book. This one has a lot of repeated chapters. So what I mean by that is it's a lot of, we get this chapter in one person's POV and then we switch to the other character's POV and we get that exact same scene/chapter. I don't like that in books. I think that you don't have to repeat the same chapter for me to get the feelings. And I think if you can write your characters well enough, when I'm in one character's heads, I can still interpret the other character's feelings based on previous experiences with them in previous chapters in their own head. I would much rather that we not do as many of those. This does happen in all of her books, but I feel like I'm really noticing it a lot in this one, which I think it is because the romance scenes are so few that when she does do a scene, she wants to almost sucker you for it, which, like, she wants to, like, pull you in, and so she gives you both characters' POVs of that romantic scene together, because she needs to, like, sucker punch you with their romance, since it's so few at this moment in time. But yeah, I'm enjoying this one a lot more than the last one, which is exciting. I'll update you at the end. Oh, I need to brush my hair. So our couple is finally together. It's slightly cringe just because it's like nothing, like slow burn. You're seeing that they like each other, but barely talking to each other, and then just like everything out in the open at once, and they're together now. But I do get why that happened, but I don't love that it happened, and if I was reading this for the romance, this would probably be my least favorite because of that. But I'm enjoying the plot too much. The other thing I need to talk about is, why do romance writers always write when they kiss someone that they taste like blah, 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 blah? Like in this one, he tastes like Coca-Cola. I have never had this thought. Every once in a while, it might be like he tastes like, I might think that breath stinks like beer or spearmint gum or something, but it's never like he tastes like daffodils and daisies or like cinnamon and chocolate. No, we don't have these feelings, and I don't know, I think maybe they're trying to set the scene, but it's just cringe, and I just need to know, like, why do they do that? Do people like that? Do other people have these thoughts? Am I a weird one? Honestly, this whole video might be me having a mental breakdown about whether I'm just really, really odd and effed up. Okay, I finished Savage Lover. I'm a little torn in what to give this one. I think I'm gonna give it a 3 stars. So there's a lot about this book that I really enjoyed. I really, really liked the plot that happened in this book, but there are some negatives for me, like the romance being almost rushed. Like the romance was almost rushed between them, and if they had just taken a slower time, then I really see them as being a good couple, and I understand why they fit, and I think once they're together you can see that. I just didn't want it to go from one extreme to the next extreme so quickly. I just wish we had seen more of the flirting that happened in the first bit. And yes, they don't get together until after 50% of the book, but the build-up wasn't there enough. So that's a downfall. The other thing that I think is going to be a downfall in all of Sophie Lark's books for me from now on is that she tends to be really repetitive on what happened in previous books and how everything works together. So like every single time we meet the Gallows family, we are described each sibling, how old they are, what they're like, and it happens multiple times in this book. At the beginning of the book, Nero explains his family, and at the end of the book, Camille explains things that happened with Ada and all of the family, and I'm reading a series. Like, I get reminding your readers, but it's too much. I don't need 10 pages of it. I just need it to be subtle. It doesn't need to be a full-on chapter about everything that's happened in previous books. People can go read previous books. Or not read them, because they're really not that relevant to the story. But yeah, and I don't know, there was just some issues. I didn't really like the secondary plot line that had to do with her brother and biology, and it didn't really need to be necessary. I think if you had given her just the excuse of that her dad needed treatment and so they needed money, I understood why she would go to Nero and ask to be part of this heist for a cut. I didn't need the like anger and revenge part that they attempted to do, and it wasn't done well. So I think I'm giving it a 3 stars in the end. It's a higher 3. I mean, I was not expecting to love any of these books. It's really shocking to me that I am, and it's interesting. They're not books I will be definitely like rushing to pick up. Like, I am craving fantasy right now. I'm trying to get one more read in for the readathon, but I'm craving fantasy. It's 4 p.m. and so technically I have 3 hours left. So let's see if I can finish another book. If not, I probably will stretch the time and get one more book in here, but as long as I read most of it within this time frame. So let's do one more spin. Okay, let's do my last spin of the readathon. Come on. Give me Serial Killer. There's no way. No way it won't, right? It has to. Like, it's all I wanted during this readathon. It has to. Come on, 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 come on. Come on. Yes! I wanted that so badly. Okay, I have the perfect book I'm gonna read for them. Okay, so this was not on my like TBR list for the weekend at all, but I actually stumbled across it, and it is by the same author of another series that's on my list. It's called Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton. This one follows a traveling circus theme in which it says every Halloween, Satan's Affair will come to you. We travel the country offering terrifying haunted houses, thrilling rides, and the tastiest food. With every passing town, I cleanse the world, one execution at a time. I hide within the walls, casting my judgment of those that reek of evil, singing lullabies to their rotting souls. Once you've been chosen, there's no escaping. You can run and you can hide, but it only excites me. Come, take a walk through my dollhouse where your screams will blend and your cute little pleas will go unanswered. But I can't promise it'll be over quickly. Trigger warnings, this is a dark read that contains graphic violence, sex, and triggering situation. So that sounds really good to me, and I'm gonna read it. I did not update you at all while I read this book because 1, it was so short, 2, I was trying to grind it out before the end of the readathon, and 3, I was just like, what am I reading? I don't even think I want to look at another banana after reading this. I would call this book horror erotica. There's no romance in this book. There is a reverse harem, but it is horror erotica. You're getting horror scenes and you're getting erotica scenes. Now, I think that this does creepy so well. Creepy. Ugh, I was like shaking and like, ugh. We are following our main character who was raised in a cult. And you get to see some of the past cult in this, and that was a lot. And then you see her in present day, where she travels in the walls of a Halloween haunted house maze circus thing, and sneaks in and kills people that she thinks are bad and evil and belong to the devil, with the help of her henchmen. I will say at about 60% way through this book, I was like, what is going on? What am I reading? I don't know if this is what I wanted. Wasn't sure if I liked it. Was probably gonna give it around 2 stars. Almost DNF'd it. I'm so glad I didn't though. There is a plot twist at the end of this book that I incredibly enjoyed. And it makes the entire book so much better. Like, it all just clicks into place, and that's why I'm giving this book 3 stars. I was bored at points because we are getting scenes like heavy erotica. There's knife play. We have borderline necrophilia. Like, she's not sleeping with dead bodies, but the killing in the dead body is kind of turning her on. So, borderline. And yeah, it's dark, it's twisted. I don't have much to say. I can't say anything because, like, so many of the reviews are people saying, ugh, gross, DNF'd. And I get why. I almost did. But if you persevere to the end, I liked it. It made me like the whole book. And yeah, so I'm calling this a success. And with that, we don't have to do another spin. It's done. That's it. The readathon is over. I can't believe that I've spent 72 hours in this cave. This little tent, this smut den. I cannot believe it. I've spent 72 hours in this thing. I am so excited to take it down. I'm so excited to get fresh air. I'm so excited to leave. I had so much fun being in this readathon and hosting it. And I think that there is talks about future ones happening and maybe future genres. 72 hours in the fantasy cave sounds really cool. Just putting it out there to all my other co-hosts. And I would also like to see different genres just because I think it would be cool to push people outside of their comfort zones. I know this one pushed me incredibly out of my comfort zone, and I had some good reads in here. So I definitely am counting this as a win for Cassidy, and I mean, I got to live in a fort. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this concept, if you want to see more vlogs like this, if you want to see more readathons like this, anything. If you have a favorite read of the readathon or a favorite trope that you got to spin in the readathon, leave it down below. But if you also just want to leave a comment to let me know you were here, leave me like a red heart or like the fire heart or something, just like red heart, because dark romance. And if you'd like to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an incredible day. Yeah, after saying 72 hours in a small little room, I'm not sure I want to live my kidnapped fantasy anymore. Let me get out of here.
And with that,
It's over! I can finally get out of here! This one won't come down! Come out! Ta-da! Oh god, I'm so glad I can no longer have to read sex. Bye-bye!